You're listening to the Artist King podcast.
This is DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, and this is the Artist King podcast, episode 77. Please take the time to download the Artist King podcast in your favorite platform and listen anytime. We would like to hear your opinions and suggestions, so please direct your comments to dtm@artistking.org. The Artist King podcast is available on iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, and ArtistKingArchive.com. This week, we get to hear the story of Jared and Elle, founders of PostFilm Design, a branding and digital studio here in ATL. Their company's mission is to engage audiences, demystify the science of branding, and deliver streamlined permanent solutions that foster business growth. Check them out online and on social medias under PostFilm Design. The Artist King podcast is made possible by the support of our sponsors. You can find them on the partners page at artistking.org, and they include the law offices of Deborah Gonzalez Esquire, VelocityScreenPrint.net, RevolveSkate.com, OHub at Giant, Southside Sickest, Mix Manny Beats, The Biz Garage, Supernova South, and Sharpie Slam 2015. The biggest, baddest art event of the year is coming to the Biltmore Hotel Wednesday, October 7th, 6 to 9 p.m. 6 teams go toe-to-toe and only one will be crowned ATL's Supreme Champ. Tickets now available at supernovasouth.org. Now on to our artist interview with PostFilm Design.
Jared Higg, originally from Tampa, Florida, now a resident of Atlanta, work with PostFilm Design.
And I'm Elizabeth Atkins. I'm originally from the UP of Michigan, then transplanted to Tampa where I met Jared, and now I live in Atlanta. So it's been a journey.
And when you say UP, is that Upper Peninsula?
Heck yeah!
I have
Youper.
I've never heard of that before.
The Youper.
Yeah.
Man. There's only 5 people. I'm one of them.
Does it say that? What is there specific other cities there or something you don't want to mention?
Oh, the UP is just a gigantic peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Sault Ste. Marie, and my family's originally from a tiny town called Pickford.
Okay.
It's 1,000 people and under. But majority of my life I spent in Tampa, so it didn't really matter. I only spent summers and vacations back in the UP, which was kind of a ridiculous experience because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I went actually was the beginning of our relationship, Jared and I's relationship, and I had to stand in the middle of the actual downtown area, air quotes, and stand on the highest point of town to call Jared and say, "Hey, I'm on Canadian Airwaves. Just wanted to check in with you. All right, I'll talk to you in 4 days because I don't have cell phone reception."
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's hardcore up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't been up there yet, but it sounds super remote.
Yeah, you gotta fly into the mainland and then take a puddle jumper over to or drive 8 hours. So
wow,
it's really cool though. You should check it out.
Yeah.
But
a minute, there's nothing there.
There's
nothing there, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine. It works out okay. It's totally fine.
I think nowadays with so much connectivity, you want places like that.
Yeah,
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Once in a while. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful, and there's not much touched out there. You know, I'm sure you've been to New York City and whatever. And when you walk down the street in New York City, you're just looking up holy crap, there's so many buildings. When you're in Pickford or the UP, you look up and you're holy crap, I'm surrounded by trees. It's the same feeling, but it's a different.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice. You only went in the summers, and so you didn't have to really deal with the cold much.
No, thank God. No.
Yeah,
No.
that's the time to go then, right? Yeah.
Yeah. July once a year.
Yeah.
That's when you should go. And then you should come home. That's it.
I will add that in my notes.
Yes, go when it's hot everywhere else because it's going to be pretty decent there.
Yeah.
It's basically Canada, so.
All right. So, did y'all meet in Tampa?
Yeah, we met at USF where I went to art school, and you got what, journalism?
I went to journalism school.
Yay!
Wow.
Yeah.
So USF is
South Florida.
Yeah,
South Florida. And all right, so let's start with Jared a little bit. You were born and raised in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go with this. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Jared.
Sure, I'm the web designer and web developer for PostFilm. We are a branding studio that works with small businesses and individuals looking to either brand themselves for the first time, bring a new product to market, or otherwise just go through a rebrand of something they've been working on for a while. As part of that, we will completely build a website for them from scratch. So we do a lot of design in-house and sorry,
All right.
not used to just free-form speaking, I guess. Yeah, so we do all of our design in-house and then all the coding in-house as well.
So, and before this, you how long you been a designer or developer?
So I've been with PostFilm for 2 years now. I've been, on and off doing web development stuff for 4 or 5. Before that, I was in finance, of all things. I worked for a number of
what a great fit.
Yeah, a number of brokerage firms. I'm still a licensed broker.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Don't you have a bunch of other weird stuff like like you passed the
Yeah, I have a
thing?
paralegal certificate. I tried quite a few things over the years. And I really fell into that. I know we're going to speak about a little bit later about the kind of entrepreneur spirit of it, but I really fell in love with that once once I left my corporate job and started working with PostFilm.
Nice. So, do you like Elizabeth or Ellie?
You can call me Elle if you want.
Elle?
Yeah.
All right.
ELLE, yeah.
Yes.
Like the magazine. Fancy.
Very nice.
Very sophisticated.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I founded PostFilm and I sucked Jared into it. I think he went willingly, so that's going well so far. But the majority of what I do is brand strategy, and I do all of the heavy lifting on messaging development, and I do a lot of the creative as well. So I implement a lot of visual identities. I work with people in the community. If I need illustration, I source that out for particular projects. We do a huge range of types of projects. So my skill set may fit someone's project perfectly where I could illustrate or do whatever I need for them, but then someone else's project, we may come up with like a crazy idea for them that we need to source, like, working with people in the community to do that. So that's cool. So that's a really good touch point for us to keep, giving people work that we like. So that's nice.
Yes.
So that's mainly what I do. Jared hit it on the head about the whole business aspect. Mostly what we're trying to do is help businesses grow themselves, not just through design, but implementing a message or bringing something to market where they're trying to explain themselves more effectively to a target audience, identifying a target audience. So a lot of the heavy lifting we do is centered around like trying to understand company culture and trying to get people to, effectively storytell through visuals or website design or whatever it is. So it's kind of marrying the design with data science. It's creative and it's business.
And a lot of thinking.
Yes.
And how long you've been doing PostFilm?
PostFilm was concepted in 2011 and we executed on it in 2012.
Okay.
And I've been in the creative community for I don't even know how long, way too long, like forever in a day, probably like, I don't know, since I could hold a crayon or whatever.
Yeah. All right, good. So then we're gonna talk about that part.
Sure.
And then and when you mentioned that you went to the University of South Florida in the arts.
Yeah.
So that means you've been in the arts for a while.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in fine arts. Yeah.
But listening to a little bit about Jared's background, it sounds like he just kind of just went wherever. Tell us about growing up, and what was the first thing you think you wanted to be when you grew up?
Wow,
what a good question.
I know.
I don't even think I've asked you this question.
I was always, as a kid, I was always an animal lover. I always took in strays. I, had that, I wanted to be a veterinarian thing going on.
Really? That's so cute.
When I was a tiny kid.
Aww.
From then until, probably a few years ago, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I never had a clear kind of path. I went to South Florida. I went through all the way through high school and college. still had no idea what I wanted to do. 2 years into college, I finally just settled on journalism because it was a project I did and fell in love with regarding newspapers and headlines and that kind of stuff. So my creativity in that kind of part of my life was really around writing and creating headlines. And people don't know this, but the copy editors actually, I went to school for copy editing specifically, actually lay out the paper as well. So there was a graphic design element to what we were doing, as well as finding the best way to get the headline or get the point of the story across, or that day's news. So it's a really interesting job, and it's unfortunate that that whole industry collapsed right when I graduated from college.
That's the same relative story I kind of have. But I mean, it's great that parlayed into that's basically what he does now for a living with websites. Creating catchy whatever and driving people with a layout, and so it kind of strangely, I guess, came full circle.
Yeah, it came full circle, but
really odd. How
I was not expecting that after and so after college, I kind of fell into financial stuff and was working for some Fortune 500 companies, doing stuff I did not want to do, basically talking about stocks and bonds and.
Just doing it for a check.
Doing it for a check, and I was not happy with it, ever.
So what were your interests growing up, though?
Had a lot of... I was really interested in music. I've been playing guitar for almost 20 years now. I really loved... from the first moment I heard some extreme metal and punk, and got really into every time I hear some new music, I gravitated toward the more extreme part of it. So I loved just grindcore and just unintelligible noise stuff, and just really fell in love with that, and the aesthetic too of punk records and collecting vinyl and that kind of stuff too.
Did you ever play in a band or in public?
Oh yeah. I played in a few bands, not in recent years, but definitely in Tampa. I was in a couple of. I was in a metal band and kind of indie rock bands.
You should talk about that art performance.
I was in an art project. Yeah, an art. I was in an art band called Chariot that we did themed costumes for every show. So a lot. So we did a fast food show where everyone dressed up as a fast food character, but as completely glammed out in glitter, covered in glitter. And we played a lot of Gary Glitter songs and a lot of glam rock 70s stuff. I don't know where that came from or how we did it, but we did it for almost 10 years. So that was, a blast. But
did y'all try to earn?
No, we never made money.
Was it even sellable? Or was it was more like an experience? I actually got to see performances before he and I started dating, and I was like, these guys are crazy. Crazy.
We firmly lost money every time. We never made a dime off of any of that. Some of that was just trying to put on and promote your own shows. So we would pick weird venues to try to put these things on in and pay for everything ourselves, and it's never a good idea.
And then you invite all your friends and family, and
10 people show up.
Success.
We had some successful draws and things.
So you did have interest, and you followed them. Yeah. And but none of them. Do you have any other ones?
Bikes, and I've been we were talking about bikes before. I love bikes, loved riding, and still do to this day. So dodging traffic, it's always fun here in Atlanta.
I know one thing. So when I first started dating Jared, I went to his house. At the time I was living in Tampa, so I was traveling back and forth. I had a great position where I could do that. It was awesome. And then, so the first time I went to his house, he pulled out, you had all these toys everywhere. And I was like, what's up with this? It was kind of weird. And he pulled out this big bin of old Fisher-Price toys that were music toys that he had taken and tweaked and made them all really sinister sounding to have it was. So I'll let you tell it, but I was just this guy is either awesome or I'm not making it out of this part of my life. Or a nut job. He turned out cool. So.
Yeah, so there's a hobby around that kind of thing called circuit bending.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you open up, anything that makes noise, usually old toys because they're easy to get to, and you can get to the circuit boards